folks, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Natasha and I do book things here. Today's video is going to be another haul. Most of these are from the thrift store. They were really inexpensive. I have a couple of new releases, just the two that I bought literally a couple hours ago. Also buy 4 get 1 free, so I didn't pay too much for these. So yes, I dyed my hair. It's gonna be this color for a little while. Really liking the orange with this haircut, with this makeup, digging it. Also got my talons put on, even though they're like manageable nails. You know, it's sad when these are like my short nails, so I can actually do things. So the first book that I got today is Anger is a Gift by Mark Oshiro. Basically, I've heard really good things about this. So the next one that I picked up today is a beast of a book, and I was also so happy that Canada got this cover because from what I can tell, there are a couple editions. This is the one that I prefer, which I think might be the UK cover. This is The Outsider by Stephen King. From the moment that I saw this cover, knew that this is the one that I wanted to get, even if I had to wait for this from like Book Depository or whatever. This is the cover that I wanted because it's so much cooler than the red cover, in my opinion. This just looks like a cool like upside down demon monster, which if this doesn't scream Stephen King, I don't know what does. Also, yes, it was 40% off and a brand new release as of yesterday. The reason why they do that is because Canadian, this book is $39.99. It's like 40 bucks, which is stupid. So a lot of the times for new releases, especially if it's in that price range, they go ahead and mark it 40% off like right away, and basically gets people buying the book, and it makes it like a whole hell of a lot cheaper. It ends up being like $24 or whatever. I, for some reason, again, just didn't expect it to be this size. I don't know what I expect with King. I mean, it should be that size, as are most of his like new like release books, but this is huge. This is 500 and some pages. It's thick. Couldn't really tell you what it's about, but I just knew that it had to be Stephen King. I think it's like a kid's body is discovered and everybody in the town pinpoints it on this guy. Something like that. Those are the 2 new releases that I got. Next are all books from Value Village. As I mentioned, it's like one of my favorite places to go. I have four Value Villages near me, and so one is like literally a 5-minute walk away from my work, so I'm frequently visiting that to kind of see like what they got. I think I found a lot of good things in this. There's only a few books that I know nothing about. I think you guys are going to be excited for the things that I found. A lot of these are fairly new releases, or at the very least things that I've heard of. So the first one that I found is The Child Finder by Renee Denfield. This is a thriller mystery book that a lot of employees at my like local bookstores have actually been recommending to me, because I talked a bit about Karen Slaughter and saying like this is the most fucked up book I've ever read, or a couple of hers, and they're like, ooh, have you read this yet? So leading me to believe that that this is going to be intense. Next up is one that I kept seeing on Book Outlet. I've kept seeing people talk about. I think this is kind of a polarizing book. People either love it or they hate it. That is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I don't think I've ever read E. Lockhart. This is like super short, so I have a feeling I could like speed through this. 200 and some pages, not very long. I've heard both good and bad things about this. Apparently there's like a big twist. Again, don't know much about it. I think it's something to do with an island. Book I grabbed is A Discovery of Witches. I've been reading a lot of witch books lately, really getting me in the mood for fall. Even though we're entering into summer here, I always like to sort of stockpile things for fall. Also, I will be in Canada in my fall for this fall. Last year I was on my honeymoon, so I kind of missed the majority of October. This year I'm definitely going to be in Canada, and I just want spooky things to read when it gets cold. So this is about witches. I don't know. It's a library, and there's manuscripts, an enchanted alchemist, alchemo manuscript, blah blah blah. witches. I grabbed a book that I keep seeing everywhere, but I don't know anything about. You guys have those? I'm sure you guys do. That is The Lonely Hearts Hotel by Heather O'Neill. I ended up just grabbing this because it has that like velvety soft feel cover, and a lot of the times when I'm looking for used books or stuff like that, or thrift books, I will look for that kind of like cover because I know typically it's a new release because a lot of older books don't have this material. That's just a tip, by the way, if you're looking for books, if you're looking for like newer releases. This is like a historical fiction or possibly similar to the Diviners. That's kind of like what I'm hoping, and for like the feel of it, I don't know. It's set in the 1910s or 1930s, whatever, in Montreal, which is not far from me, so I want to see like how underground Canadian 1930s is gonna look like in this book. So next I grabbed one that was just completely random. I don't entirely know where I got this, but sometimes you need those like weird contemporaries that are completely unlike your life and you're not, and it's like not your demographic at all. I picked up Maternity Leave by Julie Halpern. This is basically about a 36-year-old lady who just has a kid and is like navigating life and her maternity leave. Is this catered to me? No. Do I want to read it? Yeah, I do. So that was 5 that I grabbed one day from One Value Village. So the next 5 were from a different day, different week, whatever, in a different store. So you can kind of tell which ones I'm grabbing, what the mood I was in for the day, which I think is kind of fun. The first one that I found is The Couple Next Door by Sherry Lapina. I have A Stranger in Your House, also by her, that I have not read yet either, but I've heard both of these are pretty good, just like thrillers. It's always nice to have a couple of them kicking around because sometimes I like really get into the mood to read them, and just sort of building up my thriller collection for the fall. Probably judging by The Couple Next Door, this is a domestic thriller. Yep. So-and-so and so-and-so loving relationship, but one hot summer night, murder. I never have much to say when I do hauls, right? Because it's like, I know this much about this book and that's it. So keeping on that thriller train, I got a copy of Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. Thriller? Sure. And then for some reason I always feel like I should pick up a sci-fi here and there. I don't know. Free book that I got that day is Company Town by Madeline Ashby. I just really like this cover. It reminds me of Fallout, which I dig. It also reminds me, honestly, of like a horror poster, kind of like Scream All Night, that same sort of font. I'm attracted to covers like this, just FYI. The main character is one of the few people in this world that does not have bioengineered body parts or something. I don't know what that's about, but she's sort of like navigating this world. I don't know. Has anyone read this? Can anyone tell me what this book is about? But it says in here, keeps you thinking about what it means to be human in a post-human world. So I'm into that. So the next book I got, again, you're gonna be like, why? This might not be your book at all, or it might totally be my book. This is a bind up of the Southern Reach trilogy. So that's Annihilation, Authority, and Acceptance by Jeff Vandermeer. I kept seeing this at bookstores and was so drawn to this cover, and it says Area X. Very, very intriguing. It matches me right now. I'm into it aesthetically, so I picked it up. 3 books, and from what I understand about this trilogy, which is, you know, about this much, it follows a group of explorers going to this like secluded area that's been cut off from the world for like years. I don't know how many years, but I'm sure I'll find out. And each group of explorers that go into this place don't make it out alive, so I think we're following the story of group like 11 or something that's gonna go to this place, and then what happens in said place. I want to know nothing about what happens in this place before I go into it. I am fascinated by stuff like that. Like, I like a good like dystopian, and I like a good exploring things, and I like to, like, especially even in movies, I like movies where like they're gonna go explore something and then like shit goes down, like a Lost in Space or whatever, like that sort of thing. yeah, pretty into this. So let me know if you've read any of like the short books, if you've read the whole bind up of all three. I really don't know much about this, so if you watch my videos and you know my taste, please do let me know if this is something you think I'm gonna like, because I'm excited to read it, and it's nice and like big and floppy. It's really dirty, so like I have to actually like clean it because it's kind of grody, but yeah, pretty into this, not gonna lie. For some reason I'm drawn to take that on like vacation or something and just feel like I've read 3 books all at once. I don't know. The last book that I found in that group of 5, I still have 5 more after that, this is gonna be a long haul. I found just a Stephen King that I literally have not heard of ever, and to be honest, I don't know if it's a short story or if it's like an individual book that just never made my radar. I don't know. Anyway, that's Stephen King's Blockade Billy, and there's also another story called Morality in here. I've never heard or seen this before. It leads me to believe though that it is a short story based on the fact that it is only like 150 pages, not even. Yeah, about 100 and some pages. Just a little tiny guy, but I thought it was cool. And, you know, here's King in his little baseball getup, so, you know, cute. And then the last 5 books that I grabbed from Value Village on a completely different day, I feel like might have been, like, my best day in terms of finding books that, like, I really was interested in. So I found both of these in one day. Someone clearly doesn't like his writing, but I'm intrigued, so whatever. I found a man called Ove? I don't know. Ove? I think it's Ove, but who knows. It's just going to be one of those things that I'll read it in my head one of either way, and then that's what I'm going to be calling it. I don't know. I just haven't read his stuff before. It says Ove is almost certainly the grumpiest man you'll ever meet. Sold. Give me a curmudgeon-y old man book, and I'm like so into it. Very excited to read this. Don't need to know much else. I love books with little old men walking away on the covers. I have a whole collection of them. So I really hope I like this. Then right beside it, just like calling my name, was Beartown, which is another one of his books that I also don't know anything about other than these match, and I want them to be the same size, but you know, I just like it when fonts match and stuff. Aesthetics. So apparently this is about a town called Beartown, and they have like a little guy playing hockey in his little town, and if that doesn't sound like super hella Canadian, I don't know what does. It maybe is not set in Canada, but I feel like I could relate to a little tiny hockey rink in a small town, so into it. Next I found a book by an author that I really liked. I read Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple, and I loved that book. I thought it was like really excellently written, and so I found, like, I think this is new. Like, I think this is pretty new. Let me find it. So yeah, this is from 2016, so fairly new. This is Today Will Be Different by Maria Semple, and I think this is just sort of like, you know, an adult contemporary about a woman just kind of going through her life, and she has probably anxiety. A lot of Maria Semple's books deal with women who have anxiety, but she writes it really well. I think that she's just like dealing with being middle-aged and her job and her kids. I don't know, sometimes I like a good adult contemporary because I feel like, while I can relate to YA contemporary in that, you know, I've already lived this life kind of way, adult contemporary like this is like, this is sort of an idea of things to come, which is interesting to read, especially when I'm like almost in my 30s now. So anyway, I've just been reading a lot more like adult contemporary. So yeah, I found this, excited to read that. So next is another fairly new release. This was 2017. That is Every Last Lie by Mary Kubica? This is a book that I just kept seeing around, and I just saw it and went, that seems like a new thriller, domestic thriller. I believe this sets it up as a woman's husband and her daughter were in like a car accident. Her husband dies, the kid lives, and she's trying to figure out like if it was an accident or if it wasn't. Parallel perspectives between her and the moments before the husband's death. You know how it works. And then finally, the last book of this haul is one that I was so excited to find, and I had to like check on Instagram with people. I'm like, is this cool? Because I think this is cool. I found an Owl Crate exclusive edition at my thrift store, The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. And what's really cool is that they kept all the stuff from the Owl Crate box. And so like it comes with a little map, also the little thing that like came in the box, this little thing that says, "Hi, I'm Mackenzie Lee, blah blah blah, this is what the book's about." And then, coolest thing is that this is a signed copy, or with the signed plate from Page Habit. Page Habit? Owl Crate? What did I say? Owl Crate, not Page Habit. I don't know. I don't know these things. It's Owl Crate. But yeah, so I found that, thought that was like wicked cool, and so I found a signed book, and I'm like really happy about it. So I'm pretty sure you guys know what this is about. This is about Monty, who, from what I know about this book, travels across Europe in some sort of adventure or not. I believe there's LGBTQ rep in this, although I forget if he's gay or bi or whatever. I'll read it and find out. Happy to have found this, and yeah, that wraps up my haul of books. I don't think I'm gonna grab them and hold them all up because there's like 17 of them, and the Stephen King one alone weighs about 17 pounds. That is the end of this video. Let me know in the comments down below what book of that you are excited for. For the ones that I barely know anything about, have you read them? Do you recommend any of them? Yes, all of these are going to go into the star jars. I have to cut the little strips and fold the little stars and put them in there, but they are going up in that. That is all. So I hope you guys are doing good, and until my next video, I'll talk to all of you soon. Bye!